What is up, good people? Welcome back to another video version of the Tone Mob Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Today, I am talking to Landon Bailey, a fellow content creator who got started around the same time that I did, but took a completely different path. He currently has a very popular YouTube channel, and I highly recommend you going and checking that out. We had a great talk about how he got started, some of the struggles with doing this for a living, and like explaining it to other people, which is, you know, a good problem to have, but it's something that we contend with nonetheless. We get into soundproofing, we talk about a lot of things on this episode. I think you're really gonna enjoy this episode, and I think you might enjoy the bonus episode over on Patreon even more. So if you like this episode, please consider going to patreon.com/tonemob, where for $5 a month, you'll not only get access to extra episodes every single week, you will also get access to the ad-free feed, so you can listen to this without any interruptions whatsoever. I would really appreciate it. It goes a long way to helping keeping this thing going. And also like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff on this particular video. If you need more, there are almost 400 episodes over wherever you listen to your audio-only podcasts. Apple, Spotify, etc. It's all over there and you can get it absolutely free. And there are thousands of hours recorded of me blabbering on the internet at this point. And if that's what you like, there are places you can find it, including here on YouTube. There is actually a whole nother audio-only feed that gets updated at the exact same time that all of the other audio platforms get updated. It's a new-ish feature that YouTube introduced, and I'm glad they did, so the audio feed is also here on YouTube if it's your preference. If you like videos, though, well, here's the video. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Tone Mob Podcast, the show about guitar stuff, occasionally, sometimes. I'm your host, Blake Weiland, and with me today, I have none other than Mr. Landon Bailey. What is going on, dude? How you doing?
Hi, how's it going? Good.
We're here, we're doing
Thanks
the
for
thing.
having me.
Yeah. I first met you at GearFest, and while you were one of the people that I wanted to sit down and actually have a little more conversation with, we didn't really get that chance so much as I would have liked to.
I was trying to remember if we actually did. I feel like I sat with you somewhere, maybe somewhere.
I think we sat in a huge group in 8, but I don't think we got a lot of one-on-one time at that point. So
that's what I remember.
I always feel like I get most of my one-on-one time there with Phil. Just seems to be for some reason that's the way it works out. Yeah. Who knows? And
it was my first time doing one of those events too, so that I didn't know most people. Like I knew like some people, but I didn't know who you were. I didn't know actually a lot of people. So it was I didn't realize till after. I'm like, oh, that was them. So
I mean,
cool.
don't feel too weird. They really did a good job of as much as you can in the content gear space of crossing genres.
Oh, you know, totally.
There was standard, I don't know about standard, but pedal people, I can kind of consider myself in that category a little bit. And then some metalcore dudes like Andrew Baina and just other people, they did a good job at getting a wide spread of different focuses within the focus, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it was fun. Did I mention it was GearFest? That's what I was talking about.
Did we say that?
I don't think we even said what we were talking about.
We're just talking about the mystery cabal of content creators that gets together.
That was great. That was a fun. So like I mentioned, that was my first time ever going. I've been doing this channel since 2016. It was the first time I ever did any event outside.
Really?
First time I left my house. That's what I said to Robert Baker. He's like, the first time you left your house? I was just joking, but never done NAMM. Never. Well, then of course the 3 years where nothing happened because of COVID, so that didn't help. But yeah, so that was really cool to meet everybody. Definitely hope it happens again. I actually screwed up. I think I should have gone to NAMM this year. I didn't realize until the week before. People are like, "Are you going?" I'm like, "No, nobody goes to that anymore," and everybody went.
It was it was a good turnout this year. I mean, a lot of content folks are not doing so much of that at the show anymore. Right. I remember Ryan Burke just was a madman for years, and he would produce so many videos, and I was just like, man, I can barely get a podcast or two in at that thing. I'm mostly there just to say hello.
Yeah, Like if I end up being able to go next year, I don't plan to make any videos. I would just go to hang out. Like
It's the
that's what it
thing
would
to
be.
do.
Yeah.
It is. It's the most valuable thing. I mean, I made one quick thing like everybody else did at the smashed up Martin,
Oh yeah.
from the Hateful Eight. Everybody did that because
Yeah.
wow, that was weird.
That's pretty cool.
But it also took me no time to make.
Right. And that's actually kind of what I did at GearFest because I didn't know what to expect. And I went really early. I think, so it was a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think I got there Monday, maybe Monday night or something, because they allowed you if you wanted to go. And because I'd never been to Sweetwater. So that was just an experience, first of all, just seeing the size of that place.
Absolutely.
And then slowly people trickled in. So meeting all these people. And then I ended up making a few videos, but just off like just impromptu stuff. And it worked out. It's okay. I didn't feel any pressure. It was relaxing. I liked it. It's good.
I do try to get some content in there because I feel like it's not really true, but sometimes it feels like, oh, I can only do this here. The year before, I was so spoiled, though. I was so spoiled. I had a room out in one of the recording studios that was just mine.
Oh, wow.
And
Nice.
so I just got to bring people back, and that was a lot more relaxing for me.
Right.
Because I had a home base that it was permanently set up. I go in there, hit the button, let's go.
That's cool.
This year I was doing the same exact thing, but I had no home base. So I was bringing my mobile rig. I was in all kinds of different people's offices and rooms and whatever. But it's an interesting event. I wonder if they're going to continue. That was only the second year they'd done it that way. So
yeah, I think so.
I don't know what the plan is for 2024. It used to be like a mini NAMM, but I don't know if they're going to do that again.
I don't know. I've been trying to remember when I started doing stuff with them. I think it was 2021 maybe when I got into their program. I'm talking about like the affiliate stuff. And I don't think they were okay. Of course, like I said, they weren't doing anything at that point because it was in the middle of COVID, so nothing was really going on. So yeah, who knows? I liked what they did, and I'd like to see it again. Be cool. I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
I did too. It's at a really weird time for me. It's right around my son's birthday.
Yeah, it's the last week of school here, so it's a kind of a weird time for a lot of people, I think. Like for I got three boys, and it's their last. It was their last day of school, I think, that day or something, or that week. So
yeah, I remember the first time we went, I got to bring my family.
Oh, cool.
And my son, it was kind of one of those weird things where like, oh, they missed school, so they needed an extra week, and he was bummed because he was going to miss his last day.
Yeah,
because and then he didn't have to. So yeah, we're right in the same ballpark. But if it hits on his birthday again, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be going.
Oh,
I can't drag them to Indiana every year.
And Rev, he left the Friday because it was his daughter's birthday.
Yeah, grandma's will
get what happened to him.
Really mad at me if I do that. So kind of just got to roll with it and see what happens.
Yeah.
But that's enough about GearFest. I want to get into you. Yeah. You've been doing this like almost as long as I have. I feel like we got started like on different paths, but making content for guitar people roughly in the same ballpark. I started in like late 2015.
Okay.
But I don't know your story at all. I just know that I've seen your videos. I don't know how you got started. I don't know what your path has been. So start from when you were a wee lad and let's go through it.
I'll start from so I started in 2016. I'm just trying to think back. And it was, so I'm in a little studio in my basement. It's actually a room inside a room, which I built not for YouTube. It was just, going further back. I'll keep backtracking.
Let's go.
Did the band thing. Let's go even further back. So I've worked in IT, like information. I was system administrator in the government since 2001, and a couple of years after that, started earning a living. So I'm like, I can buy a guitar. So I bought my first guitar, I think in 2002. So I didn't pick up guitar until early 20s. Bought an acoustic guitar, and then tried writing some songs and doing basic stuff. And I'm like, maybe I can start a band. And this is before social media or any of that stuff. So it was like bulletin boards or forums, right? I just messaged. I'm like, hey, I want to start a band. I'm in Ottawa, Canada. That's where I'm located. And then I started a band with a group of guys. It was like a 4-piece, rock band. And we just played around Ottawa for a few years, made an EP, did that kind of thing. And then it slowly, you realize, okay, this is a tough, we're not going to make it in this. I had a friend that was he was in a professional band, and I saw the business side of it. I'm like, oh, this is really brutal. Like, this is to make it. It's almost like athletes, like most people don't make it to the professional level. They want to, but so anyways, did that, and then tried learning guitar. I was the lead singer and songwriter, and then did that for about 3-4 years, and then it just kind of stopped. And then I had kids, and so things kind of just stopped for a while. And then around 2009, moved into this house. So I'm married. I got 3 kids. I'm like, I still want to play guitar, but it's really loud, and people get annoyed when you play guitar. So maybe I can make this room. And I researched soundproofing, and I built a room inside a room. So it's a small little room here, but I set that up, and I had a recording set up and everything. And this is before YouTube. I didn't know you can make money on YouTube. And somebody had mentioned, they're like, hey, you should make a video on YouTube or something. I don't remember exactly how I started it, but I'm like, okay, I'll try that. And like, I don't recommend anybody ever watch my first few videos, but that was 2016 when I kind of started getting into the whole video production. I'm like, oh, making videos is kind of like making music. Sort of like you got this idea and then you produce something. So that's what I think has appealed to me. You can probably relate to that too. Doing songs and making videos, it's kind of similar, and I didn't realize that. So yeah, and then so that was 2016. We're now like almost 8 years into it. So it's been a slow ride, but steady, and just enjoyed it. Like, that's the thing. You gotta like what you're doing. I wouldn't have kept doing this if I didn't like it. So it's been fun. And I'd say last year with GearFest, that was the biggest bump up, like in terms of meeting people and companies and stuff like that. It's been great. I feel like it's actually, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I just, I have this weird thing about videos. Like, I really am, as much as I watch them and enjoy them, I don't really like making them.
Oh, okay.
I don't, I like doing this. This is what I enjoy. I enjoy
That's
the podcasts and the conversations. And so it's been primarily audio only for so long. I've got like almost 400 episodes. And since I've been hitting YouTube, actually, as I've threatened to do for like 5 years, I'm actually hitting YouTube properly now, probably for the first time ever. I'm actually putting effort into YouTube, literally in the last like month. And yeah, the videos things for me, it's just, I don't know what it is. I struggle with it.
I'll be honest. I didn't like it for a long time. Part of it was I was running on like, so I was like a Windows user my whole life, like just PC, and I was like pretty much anti-Apple, never got into Apple. And then my wife bought me a Mac Mini because I'd mentioned something about video editing. And so I started doing it on iMovie. I think that was the 2014 Mac Mini. I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty easy to make videos. And that's what kind of got me into actually liking Apple. I never liked Apple before. Now, a few years later, I've got the Mac Studio, and just it's so much faster. I can just edit a lot quicker than I could before. So it was a struggle before. I used to not like the work, but now I don't feel like it's work. It's just like, okay, I've got a flow that goes pretty well. So that helps. And a process like I made a video about how I make a video. It's like one of my worst viewed videos ever because nobody cares. But I thought it was interesting because it made me sit down and actually look at all the steps I do. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I've come from, hey, let me plug in my phone and just talk, and then spend forever editing out all the mistakes and garbage and retakes and doing stuff like that, compared to now where I can get something done like within a day. It's a lot better. So
it's a tough thing. I've done some videos. Some of them have done okay. Some of them haven't. But and short form, I don't dread as much. Like short form, I'm kind of fine with because that's just the world we live in. And
yeah,
I tend to like get an idea and want to work on it and get it done and then on to the next thing.
Yeah, me too.
And so, but there's some that I've shot like and I always say things like, oh, I put more effort into things and they don't do as well, but that's not always true. Like my best performing video is me destroying a Behringer pedal and seeing how long it'll hold up. And that took quite a while to get done. But it's, the most viewed thing I've done. So I guess that effort thing doesn't always mean that I tend to be a little pessimistic about it, and that's not always very accurate. So I need to remember that. But this is just what I like to do. So I thought, I'm sitting on all these videos. I should just put them out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
And every time I have a little fit and start and keep it consistent for a couple months, it always does generate results. It always does the thing that you want it to do. So I don't know why I struggle so much with it. I'm wearing too many hats, I guess, but it's really just me being a baby.
Yeah, it's like just make the stuff and try your best. That's all I can say. I don't know. It's definitely changed over the last 8 years in terms of what you could put on for what you'd make in a video compared to now. I don't know, for the better. I don't know if you experience this being watching other channels, but it's a lot of you're trying to grab people's attention, and it's a lot about the thumbnail and the title more than it used to be. Before, I used to be able to make a video, me unboxing an Epiphone, and that video did fine. Now today, if I tried to make that video, it would be crickets. Nobody would watch it. It's got to be like, this is the best Epiphone ever, and it's got to have like explosions in the thumbnail. It's basically we're in a clickbait world, right? Like it's like that's what I feel like now. It's too bad, but it's what works, and it kind of sucks. But
I think clickbait is completely fine as long as whatever is being baited is actually delivered.
Yeah.
I think that's completely fine. Some people really hate clickbait, and I'm A-okay with it as long as I get the thing that I think I'm going to get when I click on that video.
I guess I should have said, sorry, misleading clickbait. Because, people say the term clickbait all the time. They don't really know what they're saying. They think, I agree. It's like, you got to get the, and it's like, this is, I maybe I spend too much time looking at the comments and stuff. People are like, you're just trying to get clicks. I'm like, yes. That's the whole point of this.
Of course I am. Yes.
I'm like, what do you think I'm doing this for? You're just trying to make money. I'm like, yes. What do you think I'm doing? What is the point of this? It wasn't. Oh my God.
What if somebody said that if you like walked up to like your old 9 to 5? Well, you're just here because you want to make money.
Yeah.
You're just here because you want to make money. Like, yeah.
I know. I've had that just reminded me of an email. I can't remember. I get requests from. I don't even know what these companies are. I think there are a lot of companies, maybe in China, that have like microphones, and they want you to do a microphone demo.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not interested in that at all. And so I usually just reply back with, okay, I'll charge you. This is what my rate is for a video. And they reply back, can you do this one for free? And I'm like, I don't, at that point, the conversation's over. I'm just like, no. I feel like replying back, though, I'm like, do you get paid at your job? Do you just volunteer and you send out these emails asking, hey, can you do a free thing? I work for free. Everybody works for free. Free.
It's like, just free.
Yeah. It's like, no. I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah. When did you realize that you weren't just making videos just to throw them up there and see what happens? When did it click for you that, oh wait, I'm actually doing something that people are paying attention to?
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't really mention that part of this. That's so what got me into doing this full time is kind of, I don't know if it's weird. It's just not a normal story. So I've got 3 boys. My oldest is 17. He's turning 18, 15, middle one. And my youngest one is going to be 13. So he's 12. And he got a late diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder. So he's got like I don't know if you know anybody with autism. Everybody is different. You can have different situations. Anyways, his situation is that he wasn't able to attend school fully.
Mm-hmm.
So around 2021, where I worked, they offered something that if you need to take time for your family, we can hold your spot and you can take time. So that's what I'm doing right now. I basically it's like called a family care without pay. But I was also doing the YouTube at the same time as this other job. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm making enough that I could probably be safe to be off and be able to take care of my son and do this. So that's what kind of led into it. And then the past year at GearFest, talking to other Canadians that are doing it too. They're like, yeah, you can do this. Just do this and this and this, because I'm in Canada, right? So there's different things. So I got incorporated, so I'm a corporation as of last summer, which I didn't know was a thing. And yeah, that's helped. So now I'm seeing that, okay, I can actually maybe continue to do this.
That's actually really important for, I mean, wherever you're talking about. Obviously, I speak from a U.S. perspective.
Yeah.
At GearFest, I mean, again, I mentioned Phil, because Phil and I were talking to a few other people that had been doing this at a very successful level for a while, but still did not have their ducks in a row on that side.
Oh, really?
They didn't have even like an LLC set up or anything to where that leaves you so open to, and it's really fair, at least here, it's fairly simple to get an LLC. Just it makes your taxes, it helps keep a separate entity so you can give your taxes properly.
So what does LLC stand for?
That's a limited liability company.
Okay.
And that's the vast majority of companies in the US, because they're relatively easy to set up.
Right.
And it provides you protections, legally speaking. So if somebody sues you because you said, I think their microphone's trash, and and even though that's your valid opinion, they view it as slander or libel or something, they can attempt to sue you. They probably won't win, but if you're not incorporated or have an LLC or anything, again, this is not legal advice, folks. I'm not an attorney, but you can leave yourself open to your house. Everything that you own could technically be up for grabs, whereas if you have it under the LLC, it's just the things that the LLC owns.
Right. That's exactly what I was told too. So it's the same here. The two main reasons were that reason and tax reasons as well. Yeah. So it's like, and it was actually Glenn Fricker who
Glenn would know.
He's like, get on that, because he didn't, I won't say who it was, but he knows another channel that's huge who didn't do it early on, and they made a ton of money, and they lost a ton of money because of all the taxes they owed. If they would have incorporated first, they would have been a lot better off. Anyways, I think they're fine. But yeah, I was like, okay, cool. As soon as I got back from GearFest, incorporated.
Honestly, if you're any level of creator, you don't have to be making money for this to matter. You should do this as soon as you can. Talk to your CPAs, which is here. That's a certified public accountant. I don't know if that's the same thing up there, but I
believe it is. I have an accountant now because of that. Yeah.
All of that stuff, like you can start it before you have a channel. And you should, because everything that you spend and all the hours you spend trying to make it, things you drive to go buy, lights or cameras or cables or whatever, eating at GearFest with Landon, all of that stuff counts towards, and
I can tell
business expenses.
If anybody Canadian watches this, most of my viewers are American, but if any Canadians are watching this, it was $200 to get my corporation. And I think like $13 to look up the name, because I chose a name. Yep. That was it. That was the cost. Mm-hmm. So it was like, you were saying it doesn't cost much. So maybe same kind of thing.
It's been a long time, and I don't want to like give anybody quotes, and it varies state to state, but but you can also, hey, here's one. It doesn't, just because you live in a certain state doesn't mean you have to have your LLC in that state. Just saying. Talk to your accountant, get an accountant, and figure this out. No matter what kind of business you have, figure this out. It's a pain in the butt, and it's not sexy. If you're a musician, if you are somebody out playing gigs, do this stuff. This stuff is very important and will save you in the long run. Do it. Yeah. That was not something I expected to get into, but that's probably a good public service announcement regardless.
Yeah, there's a business side to it. It's not my favorite part. I guess my favorite part's still doing the videos and stuff. But and I've tried since 2016, I've tried every single type of video. I've realized that for my channel, it's guitar demos and my stupid humor. That's what works. That's the formula that's worked. I've tried my singing and playing. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody cares. It's like, you figure it out. but it took a while. Took a long time, actually, probably way too long. And yeah.
I mean, you kind of go with what you like and what resonates with people, and
Yeah.
go from there. I don't know if I'll ever be the guy that can just sit down with a video idea and make consistently like videos the way you do, where it's like, oh, I'm going to do this demo and I'm going to inject some things into it here. And I just don't know if I'm going to be able to I could do it, but I don't know if I could do it consistently in a way that people would, get a lot of benefit out of. So yeah, I'm just going to try to adapt despite my curmudgeon ways and put these out on YouTube and see what happens. Plus, YouTube just made a feature, which they're way behind on, where you can plug a podcast RSS feed into it and it'll upload all the audio that you've done over the years to YouTube. So that finally happened last week. Ugh, that was frustrating.
Yeah, they are behind on a few things. Because anyways, that made me think of something about the making the videos. I thought back when I was a kid. So my dad used to bring home. We never had a video camera, but it was like a VHS. It was the size of the camera that had like the VHS tape that would fit in it.
Oh yeah.
And he'd bring that home on the weekends from his office, and I'd make videos, and then I'd play them on the TV. So I was kind of doing my own YouTube for myself back then.
Mm-hmm.
I still have some of those tapes. I've looked at them like, what was I even doing? I don't even know what I was doing. But it's something I definitely did as a kid, and it's continued on. But it was not something to make money. It was just for fun to see yourself on TV. So
we would kind of do the same thing. We did like we'd make little mini horror movies and stuff with the same kind of camera. The big VHS
totally horror
thing.
Movies. Yeah.
Yep.
I used to do that too
all the time. And I got a talk boy, like from Home Alone.
Yeah.
And I would make my own like radio shows and just listen back.
Cool.
They're all stupid. Now, in retrospect, it's like, that was a sign, I guess. There just wasn't an outlet for it when we first came into the workforce.
No, not at all. Like, so YouTube came around 2006?
I think so.
I'm trying to remember when I even realized people made money on it and did it for real. I don't remember how I even made that connection. It's kind of a weird thing, right? To think back 10 years ago. So 2014, I don't even know if I knew back in 2014. So like within the last under 10 years, this is all new pretty much for so many people, right? And I just hope it continues and evolves positively, that it's something sustainable, because you never know. You're in a different world. Podcasts, I think, are kind of a different thing. There's always going to be a like people want to listen to people talk. I just got into listening to your podcasts, and I really like listening to people talking. Like there was one I've probably listened to a handful of yours. There was one guy you had on. I don't remember his name, but he was developing solutions for sound problems. Remember who that was?
I've had a few of the people that would probably fit that category.
Oh, okay. It was one that got cut into two parts. I guess he was remotely.
That was Barry from Grez Guitars.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Okay. He also does the guitars, but that was really cool. I'm like, wow, that's a job. I didn't even know people do stuff like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, he doesn't think it's very interesting, or at least he jokes about it not being very interesting.
Maybe to some people it wouldn't be, but I thought it sounded interesting.
I invited him. He's been on a couple times, and I invited him back on just randomly because it had been a while. And he's like, "Yeah, maybe when I get back I'm headed to this big machining plant." And he explained like in vague terms what he was doing. I was like, "That sounds fascinating. I would love to wait until after that, and you can tell me what you did, because that's wild."
I think I was interested in it because of what I've done in this room. So like, it was probably around 2008. Where I don't even know where I heard of the idea of a room inside a room. So it's literally like I did the framing, and then I did framing with a 6-inch air gap, and then special drywall, like a double layer of drywall with this stuff called green glue that's supposed to, okay, you know the stuff then. I don't know.
The listeners might not. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if this stuff is relevant anymore, because this is like 12, 13 years ago. But at the time, there was two options. You could buy this stuff called Quiet Rock, which was drywall with a layer of some kind of metal in it or something. And it was supposed to absorb sound waves and do something with it. I don't know. Really expensive, really heavy, harder to cut. Or you could do standard drywall or sheetrock, or whatever you call it, and then a layer of stuff called green glue, which is supposed to be this magic stuff that takes sound and turns it into heat. Like that's what I did, and it works. And actually, one of my videos, it's still my top video ever, like highest number of views. It's called Soundproofing a Room. Nothing to do with this channel, but it's just like I showed the stuff, and so people, I guess, that it would come up in the search if you typed in soundproofing, even though soundproofing is a term that isn't really accurate. It's sound reduction, right? So, but I can play guitar in here anytime, and nobody really hears it. Low frequencies, that's a hard thing to kill, but the high frequencies from an amp, pretty easy to tame. So yeah, been happy with that.
Similarly, it was a few years after. It was about 2014 when I started on it. That's why I built this.
Oh, okay.
I didn't build it to do this for a living. I built it because I'm obsessed with guitars.
Yeah.
And we were having a kid, and it was like, you're going to have to figure out how to, if you want to play guitar at the volumes you want to play at, you're going to have to figure out some way to do it out of the house.
There you go.
So I literally built this in my backyard. It's literally a shed. I'm like, people think I'm joking when I'm like, yeah, I'm in the shred shed. No, it's literally a shed in my backyard.
I heard you mention shed. I wasn't sure if it was actually a shed. That's cool.
It's just a big, tall shed. But similarly, I had to research soundproofing. It's double framing, all that. You know, it's not as widespread as yours is. Mine's about, they're kind of, the outside structure is like a pole barn. So it's not like your typical 2x4 studs. And then the inside structure is like your typical 2x6, I think, studs is what I ended up doing. So they're probably, I guess it's probably a fairly similar air gap in there. But then, 2 layers of 5/8 drywall, mass loaded vinyl.
Oh, see, I didn't do that. Yeah. I heard about that after. That's what everybody told me after.
It sucks to work with. It's really awful.
The only other thing I did do that I didn't mention is I used something called whisper clips. So it's like called a furring channel. These are all terms that people are like, what are you even saying? It's metal. It's metal that's kind of suspended from the joists.
Yeah.
And so I'm in the basement, and that's, I'm trying to remember it now. It's so long ago, but it's these little clips that basically hold these metal beams, and the drywall sticks to those beams. So they're decoupled from the ceiling. Sound like I know it. I sound like I know what I'm talking about, even though I don't. But I researched it a lot. So
I used to know way more about it than I do now. I've forgotten a lot of it. Yeah.
It's just you did it and it's gone, right? So I
did it, and I could probably do it again much more quickly. But I definitely don't remember everything. I do know I got really lucky, and down here we have something called the Restore.
Okay.
Which is a basically like used construction supply store.
Oh, okay.
People donate stuff to it and whatever. And I was in there just looking for anything I thought I could use. And I came across a massive stash of, I don't even know how many, I don't know, maybe 100 tubes of acoustic caulk, like legit real acoustic caulk, $1 a piece. I bought everything they had.
Oh my God. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saved a ton there. And basically, you try to make it hold water is what they tell you, right? Every single seam, every nail hole, everything you could possibly do. You caulk that in there and use acoustic caulk because it stays flexible. And
it never dries, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so you've done the same thing.
Done the same thing, yeah. And that's why I got all it. I like how it looks in this setting, but that's why I have all surface mount electrical out here, because I was minimizing those hole penetrations.
Yeah. I have. I don't even remember what it was called. Quiet seal putty around all my outlets. It's like this. It looks like it's pink plasticine, but same idea. It never dries, and it keeps the sound from leaking out of your outlets. Got all those things. I got it. Double. This is not interesting to most people, I'm sure, but it's really interesting to me.
I think people need to know though. Like, so many people have this idea that you can nail carpet on the wall.
Oh, I was just going to say that. So that video I was talking about, if it's got like 1 million something views, I bet you there's 2,000 comments saying, "Oh, I just need to put those." Like, I don't know if you can see the what's that bubble there?
I don't know. I've never seen that before.
Was that me?
I don't know. Did
that
you? That's literally.
I'm
I've
really
never
confused.
I wasn't sure if you could see it either. I was like, am I? For the audio listeners,
I wasn't even looking at my screen until that moment too.
A random bubble with a thumbs up, like I'm supposed to like something, floated in the middle of Landon's screen.
I'm really confused. How is that even a thing?
I don't know.
I'm not running anything. That's weird. Okay, so anyways, these acoustic panels on the wall. Oralex makes these panels. People think that's all you need. I'm like, no, that's not at all. Doing
It's
the
not going to do it.
That doesn't do anything. That stops the reverb in the room. That's all.
Yeah.
But yeah, they think.
Yeah, that's for making the room sound how you want it to sound. That's all.
It's the same as putting up paintings or having furniture in a room. It stops the echoes, right? It's not. It's not like. That's really weird. I want to know what that thing was.
I was like, is that going to be in the recording? Is everybody going to be like, are these guys on mushrooms? What's going on?
It's like, am I? Maybe I am. What did I do today? Shoot. I don't know.
You know what? So, I am. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot.
And now I'm interviewing a tiger. This is great.
I'm really baffled what that is. What
the hell is that? That was weird. But yeah, the soundproofing thing, we could go on and on. I had a really weird thing when I was building the shed, actually. So I got up the second layer of drywall, and I was like, that should give me a pretty good idea. I mean, granted, all these fence boards did add some mass to it as well, so I'm sure they're helping. But
yeah,
I thought that'll be pretty much as close to how isolated this really is. What really sucks about soundproofing projects when you're not an expert at it is you do all this work and time and money and research, and you hope that you got it right, and you don't know. Yeah. You have no idea until you get the seals on the door and close the door.
Yep.
Like, if all that time was worth it.
I never even thought about it when I was doing it. I'm like, I hope this doesn't fail. I never thought about it. I just thought, this is going to work. It better work. Man, I probably spent a year doing it because I don't remember exactly how long it took, but it wasn't a priority to do it. So I did it in stages, like in chunks. Yeah, that would suck if it failed.
I was really nervous that it wasn't. I thought it would work, but I was like, I hope this is going to work well enough. Like, I knew obviously it's going to do something.
Yeah, it'll do something, right?
Yeah. And I had a friend who built a studio, and I got to see that process. Now, he built a legit, like, you can have a full band in there. And I walked around with my phone after he got it built with the full band, just going to town in there. Drums, bass, everything loud. And you can hear it when you're 6 inches away from it.
Yeah.
But the crackling of the gravel that I was walking in was louder than what you could hear.
That's awesome.
So that was my standard. I didn't hit that standard because I was like, I don't have the money to do that or the space, because then my walls would have been so thick I would have had no square footage in here. So
I heard, like, I didn't spend that much. I didn't spend a ton. I don't remember what I spent, but you could spend a ton trying to soundproof a room properly, I guess. I think I'm lucky mainly because I'm in a basement, so I'm not like,
that helps.
I guess that helps a lot because it's already a concrete floor. I got one of the walls is an exterior wall that's concrete. It's not like a lot of the comments I see, people are in apartments. I'm like, you're not soundproofing your apartment. That's not going to happen. Like, you can't modify that place. So,
not to the degree that you need to.
No.
You could build a little tiny, like, depending on the size of the apartment, if you had like an office, you could build like an ISO booth, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
That would help. Yeah. But you're going to be like cramped and sweaty.
Yeah.
And,
So anyways, that's helped having it here because I don't find I actually play guitar super loud anymore. It was more years ago that I used to, but and now with all this different stuff, like I have that, I don't know if you can see above me, that's the Rev D25.
Oh,
nice. It has the 2 notes, so I don't even need to have the amp on to get really good sound. I'm like, oh, this stuff's so cool. I'm totally analog microphone combo tube amp guy. I'm so not into not for any reason. I just haven't got into all the new stuff. I'd like to, but all the new technology and stuff is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm in a hybrid situation, and I've thought many times, like, would I have actually done all this if technology was where it is now? And I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't know that I would have. I might still be in the house. And that actually wouldn't be very advantageous for what I do for a living now. But I really don't know that I would have been in there if like the Boss Tube amp expander had been a thing. That's become my go-to tool for recording now. I love that thing so
Oh,
much.
cool.
Yeah, it's lets me have my cake and eat it too. That's
Nice.
what I like. Have you ever messed with one of those?
Nope. No, I haven't tried that. I haven't tried any of the Line 6 stuff. I haven't tried nothing. Like I just haven't. I don't know.
Universal Audio, Auxbox, none of those
I've
things.
seen it, and I saw it at Gearfest. I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool to try it. And I just never, nothing's pushed me to. Nothing's got me because of this room. I think this room's been my saving grace, I guess, from, I don't even know if that makes sense, but I haven't been forced to need that stuff yet.
100%.
If I moved to a place where I didn't have that, then I would probably I'd fully embrace all that stuff and move to that where you need it. And yeah, it just depends on your situation. So I understand most people can't do the stuff. I think I'm really fortunate. I never say lucky because I didn't stumble on this stuff, like doing this YouTube channel and all this stuff. But yeah, definitely fortunate to be able to do this. It's fun.
What do you think are you going to just keep doing the thing? Do you have any projects on the horizon you'd like to tackle? You know, this always can spin out into other things, as some people have done. Do you see yourself taking on anything else?
I don't know. The biggest change I've tried to make in the last years was I started guitar lessons. It's been a year now. So that's actually just where I was before I came here. That's just to improve my playing for the videos. And I hope that helps improve the quality of the videos. Because I found I don't get the comments so much anymore, but a lot of the comments, I'm focusing on comments, I think, too much. A lot of comments on the older videos, people are like, you suck. I'm like, I know. I'm in the video. I was there. It's like, but then you take it personally, right? You can't not, because I'm like, I think I'm better than what I did in the video, because you turn the camera on, you're not playing your best. At least I wasn't, right? As soon as you turn that camera on, you're like, what's a C chord? How do you play? I can't remember how to play this song anymore. And
what is a guitar?
Yeah, it's, what do they call it? Red light syndrome, or there's different names for it, right? Mm-hmm. As soon as you see that red light or something.
I hate it when you're like warming up and you're feeling like, all right, I got this now. Like I'm feeling really good, right? And you just nailed a sick one. Yeah. You're like, cool. Now I'll hit record, and you're just unable to do anything.
No. Yeah. It's happening. I guess. Something I've learned is practice. There's no secret. It's not a secret. Practice. That's how you get better. I think people have said it a million times. I think people just don't want to practice. I don't really like practicing that much, but that's the key. Just playing the same thing over and over again until it's until you're not thinking about it. You can just do it. And
I have a hard time wanting to play. This sounds such a cop out, and it kind of is, but I have a hard time wanting to play other people's songs. That's why everything I post is just random things that I'm making up on the fly. I just don't have a lot of interest in sitting down and like learning something that somebody else did note for note. And I know that I would be a better player if I did. It's just very difficult for me to. That's all I did growing up, was sit down and learn other people's songs.
Right.
And when I realized I could just do whatever I wanted, I stopped.
Yeah.
It also helps you avoid copyright strikes.
And that's what I was going to say. You're probably better off not, anyways. But in terms, I guess, going back to like the whole idea of big projects, I don't know. Opportunities have come up in the past year a lot, thanks to Gearfest, just meeting a bunch of people. So that's like, I don't even know if this makes any sense to anybody. It probably doesn't make sense to even me. I got an offer for some home theater chairs from a company called Valencia. And I was like, at first I thought it was just one of those spam emails, like a phishing, like somebody trying to get your information. And I looked them up. I'm like, oh, this is a legit company. And I was like, okay. And so I made a video. I did a tour, and they sent me a couple home theater chairs. Like, I'm talking the nice ones that recline and they're electric and everything.
Whoa.
And I'm like, what does that have to do with guitar? I'm like, they don't even care. They're just happy to get their name out there. So you can look up Henning got the same set as well. It's like, where did that come from? Like, so stuff like that has been coming up. I'm like, that's weird, but it's cool. I'm like, yeah, this is fun. Just weird stuff. So I think I'm like optimistic that things are just getting better. And I don't really, I'm just a one-man team, right? So everything I'm doing is just, it's just me. I don't really have any, I'm not really bouncing any ideas off anybody, but I hope to do that more maybe with other like more collaborations, not necessarily being videos together, but just more communication with other people. And that's, I guess, my only, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Like, yeah, I think what a lot of people don't realize, much like all of the guitar pedal builders talk to each other, like a lot of the creators talk to each other too.
Yeah.
And things that maybe seem as different as Glenn Fricker and Ryan Burke, like, no, they talk to each other. Like, we all have communication, not just because we go to these events, but that definitely helps. But
yeah,
who else are you going to bounce these things off of? Nobody understands what you're doing. When you're out and about, maybe you have this similar issue that I do, and people ask you the question, right? What do you do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How do you respond to that?
I haven't been asked.
Ever?
Yeah, it hasn't come up. No, it hasn't come up. Trying to think. Since I guess I've been doing this full time 2 years now, because before I was like day job and then do this at night kind of thing.
Yeah.
But since I've been doing it full time, it hasn't come up. So I think my answer would probably be I do reviews for music gear, which is what it is, really. That's essentially what it is. But yeah, YouTuber, I don't know if I'd say that, because it's sort of, some people could maybe think the wrong thing. I don't know. I don't think, yeah.
It's very strange.
It's weird, right?
I've not figured out a good answer for it. I've tried. I definitely modulate what I say based on who I think I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to. Sometimes I am excited about what I do and I like to talk about it, but I don't want to do that to somebody who's not interested. You know?
Yeah. So totally.
So if it's going to be a 20-minute explanation just to get them to have some semblance of an idea, sometimes I'll just be like, I don't even bring up the podcast. I don't even bring up any of that stuff. I'm just like, I'm a part owner of a guitar string company. And then
okay, there you go.
At least they're just like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird, but at least that makes sense to me. I know the guitars have strings and somebody must have to make them. And that really doesn't require any more explanation.
Yeah.
But, and then I had a very interesting exchange at like a store. The owner of the store, I was talking to him, and they sell like vintage basketball gear and stuff. So I was like, this is super cool. And I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more about his thing because I thought it was really interesting.
Right.
But then when he flipped the favor, I was like, oh, well, and I kind of gave him the slightly longer one. But then he has this completely different idea that like if you're a YouTuber or a podcaster, you're automatically Joe Rogan and Logan Paul. I don't mean in disposition or like what you're putting out there, but like he's like, oh, you got it like that, and he used that word.
Oh, he
thought
like, you were
like super loaded,
right?
Yeah, and I'm like,
weird. I never even thought about that.
I didn't either. That was the first time that it happened. I was like, no, it's not. I mean, I'm feeding my family and things are fine, but no $250 million Spotify deals that I've encountered yet.
The power of yet.
But it is a weird thing to do. Yeah, even though a lot of people, even like my grandpa's in his 80s, he's got his favorite YouTubers.
Oh, cool.
It's awesome. Become that common now to where
totally.
It's a thing. So I don't know. I feel like YouTuber is more well understood than it used to be.
That reminds me, I did a presentation. So my wife is in education. She's a guidance counselor at a high school. And I got invited to do a presentation. The video is on my channel. I made a video, except for the live stream part. They invited me to talk about what I do. So I did do a full explanation. So I lied. I totally lied. I said what I did. But my point was to show the kids, because a lot of kids, this is what they want to do, right? They're like,
totally.
influencer. I said, it's good to do this, but I didn't do this first. I had my other career first, and I could always go back to that if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have a backup plan, which is actually really good. Being a sysadmin, because I can manage all my own computer stuff, which not everybody.
That is helpful.
Yeah, really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot about other stuff, things in general. I didn't wire this room. Like I can't do the electricity. I hired somebody for that, but I can manage my own sysadmin stuff. So that's cool.
Well, I could probably wire the room, but I couldn't do the sysadmin stuff.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's got their niche.
I did a lot of this. I had a lot of help. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of help, but I did do a lot of the grunt work.
Yeah. So I definitely a lot of, there's still, that's cool that you mentioned your grandpa though, because there's definitely that other side that I see it in the comments. Get a real job. You're not doing real work. It's like, what does that even mean anymore? Yet
here you are.
I know, right? Exactly. I mean, it's working. Am I not who's it not working for? You? Because you're jealous?
But yet they're still there in the comments.
I know, they're still watching. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Yeah. So that's
my response is just like, hey, if you don't think it's that hard, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
Yeah.
And if you're successful, you'll see that it is a real job.
Yeah.
As it turns out, it isn't quite as simple as just turning on the cameras, turning on the microphones and going, even though that is technically what it is. If that's all you do, you're probably going to have a tougher road to hoe. It's a lot of other stuff as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. So many layers of things.
Yeah, I'm going to, I did during lockdown a couple school presentations as well, cool. which was weird because I'm like, oh, this is what the kids are interested in these days. But I'm going to do another one in like a month in person. This will be my first in-person one.
In-person one. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Is that what you did too? Did you go into the school?
It was a virtual, kind of like what we're doing right now. But it was for like, I don't know how many hundreds of kids. All the classrooms connected and watched, and they could ask me questions at the end. So it was neat. It was actually fun to do. And I prepared a little video that they could watch first. And that's the video that's on my channel. It's just describing what I do. And then it was sort of a Q&A after. So that was fun. Yeah, I like that.
It's an interesting world, and it's not too different than, I think, back in the day, everybody wanted to be a rock star, right? And I think we all still want some level of that, but it is interesting to see, especially in the last decade or so, how the tide has shifted to content creator. And while that seems kind of less sexy to me as a fan of rock and roll and loud music and metal and stuff, there's no doubt that that's where the attention is and probably will be for a long time. I
hope so. I like it. I can't say I like every type of content that's out there because there's so much garbage too, but especially I guess it's kind of disheartening when you said you've spent time on videos, right? Where you work really hard and you spend hours or something making a video and then the video doesn't do anything. And then you see somebody did something stupid and all they did was something stupid to be a jerk or just something ridiculous. Like we're talking like those, like Logan Paul, like stuff like that. And they're just raking it in. And you're like, why? Why is that working? What's going on? It's not fair. Nothing's fair.
Having standards is tough.
I know.
There's even some examples of that in our space. I'm like, I see what you're doing there. I'm not going to do that though.
It'd be easy, right? Yeah, definitely. There's a formula. If you wanted to get super popular videos, just make negative stuff about. I don't know if this would always work, but if it bleeds, it bleeds. If it bleeds, it leads. That's the saying on the news, right?
Right.
I could turn on Detroit. We get all the Detroit affiliates here for. So I turn on NBC before Saturday Night Live. I'm like, who got killed in Detroit tonight? And that's what it is every week, every Saturday. I'm like, so it's always the negative stories that are first. Those are the videos that are the most popular. If you make a nice video, like I made a video how to bias that amp. Does that sound sexy? It's not. I think I got 700 views. So whatever. But you know what? I'm happy with it. And the Rev liked it. So I didn't even make it for them. I just made it because I needed to fix a tube. I'm like, what is biasing? I don't even know what that is. So I learned.
There you
that's
go.
Cool.
And then you told everybody else.
I showed everybody else, and it's going to be an evergreen video for sure. It's one of those videos that'll just live on.
Well, and you never know. That's the other thing. We'll say these things about the video, like, oh, it didn't do well.
Yeah.
And we're basing that on the first month if we're being generous, but realistically, like the first week.
Oh, I'm basing it on the first night. I'm like, this video sucks. It's done. And so the soundproofing room video, that didn't take off for 2 years. 2 years. Like literally, I just made it for no reason. It was just me sitting in this corner over here talking to my phone. No plan what I was going to talk about. It's not even that well made. And it took off around 2017. I was like, oh, wow, people are watching this? Wow.
You never know. So I just attached this feed like I was talking about. It's on YouTube now. The videos are, for the people that got confused about that earlier, the RSS audio feed is now available on YouTube as well. So, right. And one I did like, I don't know, two and a half years ago with King Buzzo from the Melvins is starting to take off relative to my tiny little YouTube channel, of course.
Cool.
But like, and I'm like, this is like not SEO optimized. It's just a thumbnail. Everything that you could do. It's a black and white, like just my logo. It doesn't have a cool thumbnail by YouTube standards.
Right.
And I'm like, what's going on? And it's just got linked to by I don't know if it's a Melvin's forum somewhere or where it is. It's just going off all of a sudden today. You never know what things are going to resonate with people and when they're going to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. When that happens though, it's really cool. I find it's really exciting. I'm like, what happened? That's really neat. And sometimes you never find out. It's just like, no idea.
Which is also kind of cool because that that's probably a bunch of people who have never heard of you before.
Yeah. Totally. Mm-hmm. I think that's part of the fun too of doing this. It's kind of like actually releasing a video. You just don't know. It's almost like a lottery ticket. You just don't know if it's going to win or not. It could. You really have no idea. Like some things, have a formula and like more. I know if I release a video after doing this for so many years, if I release a video with me and a Telecaster in the thumbnail, it'll do better than most other things I do. Mm-hmm. I just can't do that every time. It's not interesting. But it's just the mystery is fun. It's the ever-changing algorithm garbage thing that everybody mentions always, right? Mm-hmm. It's changes probably every day. You don't know.
That is one, I will say, kind of nice thing on the opposite side of the coin with doing a podcast consistently for so long is like some things will like fluctuate up and down, but like I pretty much know what I'm going to get for the most part as soon as I hit publish. Cause this is a good thing and a bad thing. There's no algorithm to push audio podcasts really. Spotify kind of has a little bit of a one, but it doesn't work the same as YouTube.
No, definitely not.
So it's much more of a mystery what's going to happen when you hit publish on a YouTube video. Not even almost no matter how big your channel is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, that's definitely. I'm just trying to think. I used to think like I have 86,000 subscribers. I used to think that number really like, and that's like that's tiny for in the scope of YouTube and how big channels can be. 86 is pretty decently sized for a niche guitar review channel. I think that's pretty cool. Like I'll probably hit 100,000. That'd be cool. What was I even saying? I don't know what my point was. Oh, okay. I think it's more of like the number of subscribers doesn't guarantee success. I've seen channels with millions of subscribers, like in the guitar world. They'll release a video and it doesn't get that many views. I'm like, so see, it's not even always. That's like the number of subscribers is kind of like a badge. It's like this. Look, I've built this. Doesn't guarantee moving forward that it's going to continue to be super successful. You still have to do something cool.
So, riddle me this: I'm sure you've got channels that you like in and out of the space and that you're subscribed to. I have channels that I'm subscribed to. The amount of times, I mean, granted, I use YouTube a little bit like an old man. I will admit that. Like, I go find the thing that I'm looking for and I leave. Yeah. I don't hang out in YouTube the way a lot of people do.
Yeah, I do that too. I'm
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So how many times have you actually watched a video from somebody you're subscribed to because it came up in some sort of subscription notification versus you just saw them post about it and you're like, oh yeah, I want to watch that? For me, it's like, I can count on one hand how many times I've actually got a notification from something and went and watched it immediately.
Oh no, I have those all turned off.
Yeah.
I used to actually say that in my videos. I'm like, please subscribe and like, and turn on notifications. I don't know. I don't use those. I used to say it. I'm like, I hate those things. Turn off all that stuff. It's annoying. Yeah, I don't usually get notifications for anything. I turn it all off.
Well, even if I go into YouTube and it's like, hey, these people published stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta watch that. But
yeah, no, I don't go for that.
It's because I saw them talk about it somewhere else where I happened to be scrolling Instagram or wherever, and then I'll see them talking about it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to see that. I'll go look it up. Yeah,
it doesn't happen that often. It has to be something really specific that I was waiting for, maybe, or knew about, or something. Like it's like, I can't even really think of a good example.
I guess my point is, how can we expect everybody else to do that?
Right.
We can't. Really.
Yeah, no.
We don't even do it.
Yeah, just because you have 80, like my number, 86,000, that doesn't mean I release a video and I get 86,000 views. It's not even close to that.
No, there's 10% on a good day type of thing.
Not even, probably like under 5%, maybe. Depends on the video, and there's also dead subs, which I wish there was a way to manage, not manage, but I wish there was a metric that YouTube could let you know, like how many of these people actually watch anything anymore on my channel and how many are just like a number as part of your subscription count that don't even do anything anymore. Right. Sure, they have a way, but they don't.
Like they might literally be dead.
They could honestly be dead. 10,000 of my subscribers are dead. That sucks. Why aren't they watching my videos?
Come on.
Subs. It's just
dead subs.
Just a term. I never even thought of that. Yeah, actually, you know what? There's been people over the years who would comment for years and all of a sudden they're gone. I'm like, did they die? Probably.
Sometimes.
Horrible.
Yeah, sometimes they did.
Sometimes people die, right?
You want to hear something really morbid?
Yeah.
That you probably don't want to think about, but now I can't stop thinking about it.
Sure.
I've talked about this on the show a bunch of times over the years, so apologies everybody. But are you familiar with Tim Ferriss? He was probably like one of the first guys to get popular blogging and podcasting, like really popular back in the day.
Tim Ferriss. I'd have to look him up.
He's like a Silicon Valley dude. But he published an article probably about the time you and I got started, maybe a little after, maybe 2016 somewhere, about fame. And he's like, first of all, I'm not famous like Brad Pitt's famous, like I am well known, but like not to that level. And he was like, what's the population of Rhode Island? And it's however many, 100,000 people it is. And it's like, Rhode Island has a murder rate of point whatever percent. If you have 50,000 followers on Instagram, and you're largely based in the US, you can take the average murder rate of the US and some level of your followers have killed somebody
or been murdered.
And I was like, oh, thanks for that. It got way darker than that.
Wow.
Because he had some really horrible
He's not a stand-up comedian? That sounds like a stand-up comedian.
No, he's not a comedian as far as I know. But he went, well, he said all that because he's had some really bad experiences with people that killed themselves on camera and like sent it to him and stuff. And
okay. Yeah, that's dark.
He has a wide ranging subject matter. I don't think you and I probably are too at risk for that, but I did think about like, man,
damn,
like, ugh, there's a certain percentage of people who have killed somebody that have listened to some of my content. That's pretty weird.
How many of our subscribers are serial killers? That's what I want to know.
Well, what's the average serial killer rate in North America?
I don't know.
You can then extrapolate that out.
Sure. I'm sure YouTube knows. They have stats on that. Or Google. They keep detailed files.
Google knows. Our FBI agents know. Everybody knows.
Yeah. The internet never forgets.
Ever. Well, dude, thank you for hanging out. This was we went all over the place. We did.
I don't even know what we talked about.
I don't either.
No idea. Honestly. That's what I find with doing. I used to do a lot of live streams. I don't know what I said ever on a live stream. I look back, I'm like, I don't remember talking about that ever.
People
crazy.
will send messages sometimes and they're like, oh yeah, this is the answer to that question. I was like, man, I don't know what.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the question was, but thank you. You'll have to remind me. Too many hours of me blabbering on the internet for me to keep this all filed away properly.
That's awesome. It's forever now.
My confusion will be forever.
No, I mean, like you'll be on the internet forever. Your voice, and it's cool because just how many people have died and nobody will ever remember them because they never had a internet back in whatever. I don't know what to talk about. What? This is usually, yeah.
I like it. Good. Yeah. Well, I got the classic questions to wrap this episode up before we slide over to Patreon. But before I do that, I like to give the guests the chance to take the floor. You got a few thousand people's ears right now, so you want to plug anything you want to plug, shout out anybody you want to shout out, anything like that. Now is a good time.
You know what? I'll be honest. I've heard you do this, and I kept thinking of what should I say at this part, and I don't know. I like Telecasters, blue Telecasters. I like blue guitars. Did I mention that yet? I don't even know where the blue thing came from. This is not even what you just asked for. Yeah. Okay. No, just if you haven't heard of my channel and you like stupid people, you'll probably like me. And I'm not the best guitarist, but I like to have fun. I play guitar and have fun. That's my thing. That's my whole thing. Play guitar. I said that from the beginning. I think I said it in my first video back in 2016. So it's stuck.
I like it.
I think the have fun part is what people forget a lot, right? It's unless you're a professional musician, gotta have. Well, you can still have fun, but
you should still have fun if you're.
You should still have fun.
Yeah,
yeah. But just try to remember the have fun part because it's fun. It's really fun.
I like that. That's good.
Okay.
All right, final 2 questions. Here we go.
Oh, there's more. Okay.
There is. What is your favorite Boss pedal?
Oh, it's one I actually sold twice. I'll probably buy it again someday. The Terra Echo. Do you know that one?
I do. That one's cool.
Yeah, it was Boss's 100th pedal. It's the weirdest kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a reverb, delay, digital thing that does trails and stuff.
And it's got some modulation going on.
Yeah, it's a mix of a bunch of stuff. It's not really one thing. It's kind of cool.
It's like it's a very ambient boy in a box type of thing.
Yeah, totally. You can do some really crazy sounds with it too. Yeah,
I like the Terra Echo. That's a good pull.
I don't know why I don't have it still.
I don't know why I don't have it still.
I told you I bought it twice, so I'll probably buy it a third time. That tells you something, right? Usually when you have the same gear a few times, you never stop buying it.
You should probably just keep it next time.
I should, and yeah,
just an idea.
Yeah.
All right, final question.
Yeah.
What is your favorite kind of pizza?
Brand or like toppings? You mean like
all of it? Go as deep as you need to go.
You know what? It's weird. I didn't know about them or hadn't tried them for years, but Little Caesars stuffed crust with like pepperoni. I really like that. I don't know why.
Little Caesars stuffed crust.
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't even know Little Caesars. I thought they were just like this budget, crappy garbage pizza brand. I don't know. Maybe we didn't have them here for a while. I don't know. I like it. It's good.
I will say Little Caesars, I think, while it is cheap and they're
really cheap,
most American cities and probably starting to proliferate up there in Canada as well. For me, if I'm going to Little Caesars, I get the thin crust, which is a slightly newer slightly newer pizza. I think that's only maybe like 3 or 4 years old.
Oh, okay.
And they have like a really thin kind of cracker crust.
Oh, cool.
Is it super gourmet? No, but it's also $5. So what do you want?
So cheap. Maybe that's the appeal to it. It's just so cheap.
Yeah, and it's pretty. Yeah. I mean, I think it punches well above its weight for $5. That's my opinion.
I think so. I think the taste is decent. Like it's not gross. It's not that sounds terrible. It's better for real, than most pizza. Yeah,
the Nam pizza, not the pizza truck that's outside. That pizza is good. It's expensive, but it's good. Right. The inside pizza that you get in the convention center is expensive and it's bad. Like Little Caesars. I mean, I'll still eat it because you got to have calories. But
right.
But Little Caesars is way better than that, is my point.
Yeah.
Like, way better. So, yeah.
I go for that. That's been a new discovery. They've been around here for a while, but that's just something new.
Little Caesars stuffed crust. All right, we'll go with it. Well, you want to slide over to Patreon and see what kind of nonsense we can get into?
Sure.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. For Landon, this is Blake, and as always, folks, good luck and good tones. All right, folks, there you have it. There's another episode in the can. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And again, if you'd like more with me and Landon, please go over to patreon.com/tonemob, where for just $5 a month, you can support this channel, this podcast, and everything Tone Mob, and I would really appreciate it. You will also get bonus episodes, ad-free feed, and more stuff. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, because I hear that's what YouTube likes you to do. Thank you so much for taking all that time and hanging out with me. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you on the internet very, very soon.